Is this thing on? I think this thing is on. Is it on? Yeah, we're live. What's happening, everybody? Everybody's having a fantastic. Whoa, that's too bright. Whatever day it is you're watching this. Hold on. Technical difficulties. One moment, please. All right. Hope everybody's having a fantastic whatever day you're watching this. Happy 4th of July fireworks. Make sure you come back with 10, not 9. Little bit of news coming into the camp. Kind of cool, kind of neat. So it's been a while. In fact, it's been a long time since I got a new work vehicle. And to be honest, it's a little bit overdue. Buffy has been a good girl, but I've had Buffy for coming up on nearly 5 years. Kind of hard to imagine that. And the truck's got about 155, 160,000 miles on it. And you know, I haven't done any truck content in a while, and that's really on me, but there's some reasons for that. See, there's only so much I can bring you guys when we're talking about having a new truck in the mix because, well, my truck didn't belong to me. It was a company truck. Well, things have changed a little bit, and some policies have changed, which will allow me to get my own truck again and use it for work, which to me is awesome. So I've decided to do a little bit of a build your own on a Tradesman 1500, and that's what I'm going to be picking up. So I figure I can talk a little bit about that, let you know some reasons why, let you know some of the options that I'm going to go with, some of the options that I'm not going to go with, and some of my impressions as I have been running around looking at these things now for the last couple of days. Now, interesting thing to note, the trucks in terms of what I was able to see, one of the weird things has been that you realize that like regular like leather, like what used to be considered fairly kind of run-of-the-mill leather interior really doesn't exist. Neither does vinyl for that matter. And this isn't necessarily just talking about the Rams. I'm just talking about the trucks in general. Kind of a strange thing. So when I went looking for a truck, Ram, Chevy, Ford, or otherwise, there were some things that I was looking for. In particular, one of the things that I was looking for was an interior that was basically bomb-proof. I did not want to get cloth again because cloth gets gross. It gets nasty. If you're on job sites, spill something on it, you know, you got the family running around in this thing, it's going to get nasty. And the last thing that I wanted was cloth interior. Well, come to find out, you basically can't buy a truck with without cloth interior unless you specify it. In other words, if you want leather interior, you've got to really step up in terms of trim levels. And if you want vinyl, you've got to really step down in trim levels. In fact, you can only get vinyl interior on one truck in one trim level, which I found to be hysterical. The other thing is that I didn't want any carpet in the truck. Again, something else to get dirty, something else to get gross. I'd rather be able to pull my truck up to the shop, bust out some Windex and a leaf blower and have that thing cleaned out and not stinking in a heartbeat. Well, the problem is it doesn't work like that with cloth, and carpet sucks up everything you drop on it. So as you can imagine, I've got 5 years worth of French fries, taco juice, and everything else that you can imagine floating around in that truck. And it's going to be a bit to clean it up before I turn her back into the pool. But the fact of the matter is that finding the truck that I wanted to, it really only landed in one camp, and that was Mopar. So again, I'll talk to you a little bit about that and how I've got it specced out, so to speak. I still need to get this thing ordered, but the good thing is that that is coming here hopefully very, very soon. So let me check in with you guys real quick. Bay Miles in saying, I'm in. First in. Eric Taylor is in with the flex. Sean Bly saying, happy 4th, bro. Happy 4th, Sean. Roy saying, what up, B? What up, Roy? Bruce is saying, my man, been referring more people to you. How's the weekend treating? It's treating me really well, and I appreciate the good looking out there, my friend. Thank you, Bruce. Truck Rice is in saying, hello, Mopar Chat Live. DM's checking out with everybody, wishing everybody the best of force. So is Chuck. Thank you, folks. David's checking in from Ontario. What's up, David? Man, y'all's weather ought to be getting really nice up there. Somebody Bama say he changed his name since the channel is more about Mopars now. Nice. Brendo's asking, do I think a super stock is worth it? If you've got the money, man, a super stock, I guess, is worth it. I would, if you want something that you're not ever going to touch and you want something that's you're going to be a bit more of a purist about, maybe a super stock is right up your alley. But I'll tell you something, brother, I give super stocks all they can handle and then some. And that's with a Hellcat running stock boost on 93 octane gasoline. Junior's checking in saying, how'd it be? Oh, multiple Mopars. Behemoth is in now. What was multiple Mopars? So Behemoth, sweet. So y'all, everybody, that's multiple Mopars. Good, long time, great friend of mine, long time friend of the show. So everybody say hello to BR. So here's the thing. As far as the trucks go, one of the things that I wanted was the heavy duty vinyl interior with no carpet whatsoever. And again, finding a truck across all brands that would fit that was incredibly hard to do. Ford, I thought I was on the right track to getting something like that. And I spec'd out one of the Fords, but it just ended up not being that way. And the Chevy, let me just tell you guys this. So I've been shopping these trucks a little bit, and I'm not going to say that I'm not going to lean heavily towards the Dodge. It's what I'm the most familiar with, and it's what I do enjoy driving. But obviously, I'm going to give every manufacturer a shot at this. So let me walk you through the process real quickly of what turned me on and turned me off about the different products that are out there. First of all, the Toyota, the Tundra, great looking truck, don't want a V6. Got shuttle kicked right out the window. The next truck that I was looking at was the Silverado. The problem that I found with the Silverado, basically it was this. Number one, I didn't even get to speccing out one of those trucks because I couldn't get the equivalent of a tradesman with anything other than the 5.3 liter. And you might say, well, it's a truck. It's not a race car or anything like that. Let me paint a picture for you. The 5.3 liter versus the Ford's 5 liter and the Ram's 5.7 liter. Both of those engines make the same power, 400 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque. They're basically the same. The Chevy, on the other hand, is checking in at 355 horsepower and lots less torque. It's just not going to get the job done for me. And I wanted something that, because I'm going to be driving this thing all the time, that's going to be kind of fun to drive. So with that truck having really no performance advantage and kind of being the pooch of the bunch, I didn't even get past the specifications. The Chevy got punted. Next on that list would have been the Ford. Now, the Ford would have either been a 5 liter or the EcoBoost. And for a lot of you guys might say, man, the Ford's actually a really nice truck. And it is. Here's the thing I liked about the Ford. The Ford has a true leaf spring suspension. And I like that because if I'm carrying weight, the Ford is a lot better platform to carry any significant weight with. If you're carrying, and I mean a legit carry, like a palletized run of about 1,000 pounds in the back of that truck, 800 pounds, that's about the limit that I would put in the back of a Dodge. In a Ford, I would have absolutely no problem running an extra 300-400 pounds back there. It just carries the weight better. And that's about it. I mean, what's the main thing, the big difference between the Ford and the Dodge. The powertrain, though, I was looking at the EcoBoost. I would have probably gone with the EcoBoost if I wasn't leaning so heavily towards the Dodge anyway. If it's a 50-50 split, then the Dodge is going to get the hit, even if the Ford technically shows to have a little bit more power. The problem that I had with the Ford, though, is that the last one that I drove, I don't care what in terms of performance numbers, but I'm going to be talking performance numbers because everything that I own has been to the drag strip just about. I don't really care if the Ford would have shown a better number at the drag strip because how the thing drove was just so lackluster. It just didn't feel that good. And the 5-liter offered up one, and that was the EcoBoost I was just talking about. The 5-liter, the problem with the 5-liter is I could only option it with the 315 gear. And I thought that was weird. So any real performance advantage that 5-liter could have ever had over the Hemi, and again, we're talking about two engines that make practically identical horsepower and torque, any advantage that truck would have had, wouldn't realize it because it's got a 315 gear. So that's one of the things that, as somebody that's going to be spending their own money on this thing, I'm really weighing every option that I have and just picking this thing down to the nth degree. And also, just like I was saying, I could not option the Ford with basically the vinyl seats and no carpet. And that's how I want my truck. At least when I was optioning the truck. In other words, if I wanted to get an extended cab, 6.5-foot bed, et cetera, they just kind of gave me this cloth interior and I couldn't option out of it. So here we are with Ram. And so I'm real happy to say that too. I was stoked with the prospect of going with the new body style. It's my understanding that this latest body style versus the classic is lighter. And one thing that I want to say is, one of the things that I wanted to say about that was, the newer truck feels like a 9/10 version of the classic. It does feel, I'm not going to say it feels smaller, and I'm not going to outright say that it is. Maybe it's bigger for all I know, but it just feels a bit more compact. And again, in driving the trucks, I didn't really notice that big of a difference. So, again, it's going to come down to how the truck is optioned and how well that thing is going to run. And guys, I did option a little bit of a hot rod. So let me break down to you how the car or the truck is going to be optioned. Basically, it's a tradesman. So the lightest weight package that I could find, it's going to have the vinyl interior with no carpeting. And it's a quad cab with the 392 gear with no slip. And let's just say it's going to be a pretty tough truck to mess with. I'm actually looking forward to getting this thing to the drag strip, if I'm being honest. But we'll see how it ends up running. But at the end of the day, it's a work truck and it's got to do work truck stuff. But I am looking forward to it. And it's going to be basically a dark gray color. But let me check in with you guys real quick. Brando's asking, are the Scat Packs easily as bad on gas as Hellcats, or are Hellcats worse? Actually, Hellcats get better gas mileage on the highway. A lot of that has to do with the fact they have a lower compression ratio and they have a lower rear final drive ratio, 262 versus 309. A lot of guys don't realize that, but that is the reality of that. When my car still had the 262 gear on road trips, we'd knock down 25, 26 on the highway. So they actually don't get bad fuel economy at all. Junior's us are saying, hey, hey, what's up? Yeah, Junior's hanging out with Behemoth Racing. Marco's in saying, watching this in UFC, good card tonight. Yeah, so Izzy's fighting tonight. So I'm looking forward to that for the main event. Always like watching him fight. The guy is so creative. I just real big fan of him. Marco's saying New Frontier. I love it. Just got it. Turning sucks and stuff steering. I think I read that right. Yeah, the Frontiers are nice trucks. I just have to have something full size. Andy's checking in. Good evening, Brian. Good evening, Andy. Got the fist bump and the flex. I like it. Oh, Chuck saying he drove a Super Duty for years, Triton V10 crew cab. So my last Ford, Whitey, used to love Whitey Ford. Man, Whitey was a 5.4. It was a extended cab, 6.5-foot bed, 4-wheel drive with the 5.4. I drove that truck into the ground. Had the cam phaser tick and everything. You go through and drive through, it sounds like things about to fly apart. BB saying, hope everyone has a good and safe weekend. Absolutely. Oh, Dan's in saying just picked himself up a 22 Challenger RT 8-speed this past week. Loving it. Very nice car. As a matter of fact, while I was at one of the dealerships, there was a guy that took possession of a silver Challenger RT with an 8-speed. Real pretty car, 5.7 car. It looked good, sounded good too. Joe's saying the 5.0 will run circles around the 5.7, and I'm a Dodge guy, still about a Ram though. Actually, with the way I've got this one spec, that Ford's going to have all it can handle. But the thing is that it's just I couldn't option the Ford the way the 5-liter the way that I really wanted to. In fact, I thought that was really weird. I was trying to option it with 355 gears, and for whatever reason, the website wouldn't let me. And so for me, that was a deal killer. But I will say that if I could have optioned the Ford with the 355 gears, I might have been at a Ford dealership instead of a Dodge dealership. And I know that they run great. It's a good looking truck too. Roy said he loves his F-150 5-liter STX 4x4. Good truck, by the way. And again, I don't know why it wasn't letting me option it with the gearing that I wanted. I really wanted to option it with 373s. And what was weird, see, this is what was weird about the Ford site, man. I was trying to option, what I really wanted was an extended cab. It would have ended up being an extended cab, probably a 2-wheel drive, but I was even going to option the 4-wheel drive. 5-liter, and I wanted 373 gears. I figured that would be a really cool combination, and it would absolutely not let me do that. So I said, okay, well, let me go with 355s, and it wouldn't let me put 355s in it. I'm thinking, what is the deal? How could I not get 355 gears? So the only gear it would let me get was I think it was the 315. Like 315 is not an option for a truck. Let's see. Jay saying, what up, B? What up, Jay? Marcus saying, I want to get a 4x2 classic regular cab, 5.7. Be a fun truck. Those are fun. See if you can find an RT. The RT trucks are really sweet. They come with a 392 gear standard. Bruce saying, I'm hoping Dodge offers something cool for the affordable NA crowd. Hell, I'd accept a 392 Ram for a final Halo car, be rad. Yeah, so here's something funny. Dodge is offering the Warlock package, which is kind of sort of like I don't really know how to explain it. It's almost like a Rebel package in a way, and it's just a way for them to keep the Warlock naming alive. I had no idea they were even doing this, and I've been sitting there yammering on for how long that they needed to bring back the Warlock. Anyway, they brought back the Warlock name, but they didn't bring back the Warlock power. And back in the day, to give you an idea, to circumvent around the emissions laws, back then they had the Little Red Express, which was, I guess, got more fame just because it was kind of an outlandish thing, red with the stacks and all that, and had a hot rodded 360 in it. Well, the thing is that they also had the Warlock. And the Warlock was basically the Little Red Express, but black with gold trim, and it didn't have the stacks. So anyway, again, a hot rod, and at the time, they were the fastest thing on the street out of any of the manufacturers. But unfortunately, they brought back the Warlock name, but didn't give it a 6.2. They didn't give it that Warlock performance or the Little Red Express style performance. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And I don't know. Oh, come on now. There we go. Get this AC going in here. Let's see. Alberto's asking a good question. I was going to get to this in a minute, and I'm glad you brought it up, my friend. Asking, are you ordering the Ram with a 5.7 with the e-torque or just the 5.7? Just the 5.7. So far as I've heard, and it's been, of course, the time I'm going to look at trucks, it starts raining. One of the things that I was hearing, there's a few things about the e-torque that I didn't like. One, is it's mandatory for start stop. Now you do have a button that you can press to turn off the start stop technology. And if you're not familiar with that, it just basically means that when you stop the truck, the engine turns off, and then the e-torque turns everything back on and you get going again. As seamless as that might be, I didn't want that. Two, I don't like the idea of some of the jerkiness that can come with a mild hybrid, with in a situation with a with regen. Three, this other thing that I didn't like, and these are some points that just kind of go along with the idea of e-torque. So if the e-torque system isn't working properly, it can shut the truck down completely, which is another layer of complexity that I just really didn't want to deal with. The other thing is that it does not only add complexity, but it adds weight. There's the batteries that go along with this thing that obviously, again, are going to add weight and could be a failure point for this thing. One other thing that, and this is probably the overwhelming arc to all of that, is somebody who is a lot more into performance than really anything else when it comes to these things. The e-torque is supposed to offer 130 foot-pounds of torque. It doesn't offer 130 foot-pounds of torque like what you would expect out of a regular hybrid system. It's a mild hybrid. And so what it does is it kind of helps get the truck going, but it's not a performance enhancing thing. It's really more of it's transitional technology, if we're being honest. And if they use the technology properly and actually use it as an supercharger, if you will, because that's kind of how it's set up. And if you're not familiar with the e-torque, I'll bring you up to speed. It's a alternator / electric motor, and it runs on a 10 rib belt, and it just throws power through the crankshaft the way that a naturally aspirated engine would spin a supercharger. In this case, the supercharger is trying to spin the engine. Again, adds complexity, no real gain in real world performance, not going to go down the track any faster with it. I'm failing to see where that system is really going to help in the long run. So I opted away from it. And again, I'm sure there's guys out there that have the e-torque that have had no issues. It comes mandatory if you get a 6-cylinder. So, I mean, there's that to consider. I mean, obviously they feel good enough about that system to where the trucks come standard with it if you get the base model. But for me, it just represented a level of complexity that I just was not all that comfortable with. Let's see. Oh, Dan saying an RT just got his silver also. Very cool. That's 2 silver RTs. I like it. Brando's asking, what platform do all Corvettes fall into? Well, all modern Corvettes, latest one, are C8 platform, sports car 2-seater. Are they in the same competition with the Camaro, Challenger, Mustang? Not at all. What does a Corvette compete with? Anything with 2 doors and that's 2 passengers, 2 seats, no back seat, not a 2+2. So that would be the Viper. If the Viper was still around, that would be the anything kind of Porsche in a way, but it would not be any of the pony cars. Marco's saying the one he's looking at is a 2019 Classic with a 392. Oh, one thing I was going to say. So let's talk about pricing on these things. My goal was to build a truck that was going to be, well, number one, affordable, but it had to make sense. The numbers had to make sense. The problem that I was seeing also with the price of some of these trucks is that you can accidentally and would be very forgiven if you were to walk out the door paying $52,000, $54,000, $58,000 for a truck. That's one of the things that had me kind of spooked by all of this, was just how expensive some of these vehicles really were. I mean, I'm looking at, yeah, I would just kind of wander onto the lot and see sticker prices that, quite honestly, I mean, I could pick up a used Hellcat for and be more than happy driving that thing around to job sites. So, yeah, after I picked my jaw off the floor and basically myself off of the tarmac after looking at some of these prices, that's really when I decided, oh, and to also know that nobody's really got fleet style trucks in stock, that's when it was time for me to start looking into building my own. But the reality is that the trucks today are just overwhelmingly expensive, and the price ranges for trucks that I was looking at would fall around the $40,000 range, which to me just seems obnoxious for what is in essence a work truck. But when I did the build your own, I optioned it basically to be just under $40,000. I think the actual sticker price is going to end up being like $39,500 or $39,000, almost $600. And again, that's just with the bed liner, the tonneau cover, a change in paint color to the dark gray, and 392 no slip, or 392 gear no slip, 5.7. Oh, and a trailer controller, because you never know. But that'll give you an idea of how the truck is set up. And I'm looking forward to bringing you guys some content with this thing. I really love trucks a lot. And who knows, this latest Ram 1500 could be my new favorite truck that I've ever owned. I did get rid of my last favorite truck that I ever owned, and that was my 2014 Sport. And that's the one that I had a 392 gear installed, and I tuned it. And that's the truck that helped teach me how to tune Mopars through HP tuners. Alex and I would have some late night dyno sessions, strap that thing to the dyno and just had fun with it. So definitely something to have fun with, and something, again, that I can bring some content to you guys. In terms of mods, probably the first thing that I'll do while it's still under warranty is I'll throw a pedal commander on it, because I got to. But let me check back in with you guys. Gary Payne saying, hello, everyone. Chuck saying the 392 Rubicon is cool. My friend paid 90 grand for it. I would get a TRX if I was to spend that amount. Yeah, buddy, you and me both. Holy mackerel. Man, that's throwing money at that thing. Dr. Zev saying 2019 with a 392 Ram. Who did the swap and why? Oh, who knows? I will tell you that we used to run into a lot of 392 stroker motor Rams at Pites. Roy saying a Hellcat with a trailer hitch. Nice. Chuck saying, looking forward to the truck content. I'm looking forward to bringing it to you guys. You know, one of the funny things about this stuff is that you almost forget about the trucks. And if I'm being honest, you know, the trucks are really what got me into Mopar. So, you know, kind of a bit of a story time for you guys. I had, at one point, honest to goodness, I had sworn off anything and everything Mopar. This was back in, I would say 2012, 13, 14, right up through there. I had really sworn off all things Mopar, mainly because I didn't have a lot of good experiences with Dodge, except for the stuff that I was doing with the Vipers. But pretty much everything else, it just didn't really resonate with me, didn't ring that bell. But when Whitey croaked, I literally drove it to a dealership where I found the original Buffy, which was my 2014 Ram. And I loved that truck. I had an E63 AMG that was white, black interior, and my Ram was basically like a truck version of my E63. And so I drove that thing basically almost until the wheels fell off of it too. And it ran great, was a lot of fun, awesome on road trips. And what ended up really getting me deeper into Mopar was that drive. When I first drove my sports edition truck, It looked the part, it sounded the part. I just really liked it a lot, and I fell in love with it. And it was because of that truck and my love for that truck that I ended up getting that Challenger SRT. And that's what got me kicked off really with the channel. And so, because of all of those neat things, I was able to, and because of that truck and all the neat things that it did, and I was able to learn so much about Mopars and take a lot of my knowledge that I had from other platforms and bring that to the Mopars. And then from there, just really started enjoying the Dodges a lot more. They were a lot more fun to drive for me. And I just never really did look back after that. So, fast forward to today, and now I'm just kind of nipping at the bit to get my order processed for my truck. So, but it's the trucks that got me into it. And so again, I'm looking forward to bringing you guys that content. When this thing is out of warranty, I will have already had the smart cable installed. We'll crack the computer and I'll start tuning on this thing. And we're going to, get to play with this thing a little bit. I'll put an 87 octane tune, strip a bunch of torque management out of this thing and throw some line pressure at it and play with some shift points and get her to really rip. So, we'll start there, but I'm definitely going to go with the Y pipe. I'm going to do I'm probably going to keep, I don't know if I'm going to go dual with it or if I'm going to keep it a single. I might go Y pipe with, 3.5-inch pipe through a MagnaFlow and just dump it over the axles or something. We'll see what ends up happening with this thing, but it'll definitely sound good. It's going to run good. Can't wait to get the thing to the drag strip. That's going to be, right after break in. And of course, I'm going to be nuts with oil changes, as I always seem to be. So, should be a whole lot of fun. I have to put on my glasses of reading because Lord knows I can't read anything without them. Let's see. Doctor saying Whipple and Cam. I know every guy makes great camshafts, or I know a guy that makes great camshafts. I can hook you up. He likes the 9 drive and it's $50 off eBay. Nice. Buddy of mine turned me on and they are great. Cool. Doctor saying Whipple after warranty? Probably not. No, it's going to remain naturally aspirated. But don't think that I haven't thought about it. Actually, if I was going to do anything, it wouldn't be a Whipple, it'd be an E-Force. But it'll get some, it'll eventually end up getting headers and all of that good stuff. Bruce is asking, do I already have exhaust in mind for it? I highly recommend the Carvin R series for the Rams, snaps, crackles, and pops. I am probably going to, again, man, I don't know if I do anything, it's not going to get shorties. It'll get long tubes and I'll just, tune it for long tubes. But long tubes, Y pipe, and some kind of a MagnaFlow type of a straight through type deal with a couple of resonators, just to keep it throaty, give it a good tone, but not give it too much, just not too loud. Let's see. Brando's saying, have you ever curb rashed your wheels and have you repaired them yourself? Sorta. I've rashed them a little bit and repairing them. I wouldn't say I repaired them. I just cleaned them up. I had repainted a couple of sets of wheels. Chuck's saying, my Dodge dealer I do business with alerted me of a 1320's up. Nice. They're badass. I enjoyed the one I drove, but I really love my RT shaker. Not worth the debt rolling over loan money. True that for sure. Dr. Div saying, well, it is a work truck and it does have to get some level of durability long-term. Plus, I don't know if I can keep writing off premium gasoline all the time. But like I say, the cool thing about these trucks is that they've got universal appeal. And, I got to tell you, I've really, because you got to look at it like this too, guys. I have had 2 Ram 1500s, and the 2 Ram 1500s that I've had, I have logged about 300,000 miles. Actually, 320,000 miles of mixed driving with those trucks. And I've just, had a really good time with it. Alberto's saying, how soon before a 392 ported is installed on the truck? You think I haven't already been looking for one? About 15, 25 minutes. And he thinks I'm kidding. No, I have, that's actually on the list of things to do. It's so the list of mods is going to go like this: 392 intake manifold. I'll port it. Best manifold out there for the trucks. It'll probably get a set of Cook's long tubes, Y pipe with 3.5-inch pipe and a MagnaFlow and a big MagnaFlow, and just call it good at that. Like I said, it'll be quiet, but it will absolutely rip for sure. The cool thing, so here's the thing: the 392 manifold for the trucks is such a cheater hack of a mod, because the truck is already set up for it. In a way, the trucks breathe from the passenger side, not from the driver's side. So, but yeah, I'll be playing with that. But again, but the other thing is that I don't really know much about the 5th gen Rams either. This will all be new to me. So you guys will be taking the journey right there alongside me. I'm not even going to tell you that I know much about what's going on with that contraption. So, Doc saying Jesse's got one that you may own. Yes, he does, as a matter of fact. But this would be the 392 truck manifold. Dan saying the factory Y pipe on the 5th gen Rams is a lot better than the 4th gen or the classic out of 2014, and just had a 2020 5th gen. Oh, cool. Doc saying he's going to bring me that one. Cool, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, bring it on by. I can always find a use for it. If nothing else, I can do a show and tell with it whenever I'm talking about manifolds. But yeah, I will be. So to get back to the intake manifold thing. Yeah, it's just the manifold. I think the short runner actuator, actually, you just put your actuator on there, and you need to get an extender, I think, to run that on the truck. Anyway, yeah, and it's definitely worth it. About 15 horsepower. Chuck saying he might call his dealer back and tell him he's interested in a 1320 just to test drive it. Good car, man. I mean, listen, I some of my best memories, fondest memories, core memories are always going to be of me and Ray in that Frostbite 1320 that he had. And for those of you who don't know, I had a buddy of mine, Ray, who exited the census not too long ago. Miss my buddy. Anyway, he had a Frostbite Blue 1320. We'd met up at the track. We're going to go do some racing one night, and they're having a concert or something. Neither one of us knew that was going on. So he had just taken possession and gotten the 1320 broken in. And he goes, man, let's go see what this thing can do. Let's go put a little, let's go make this interesting. I said, all right, sweet. Let's do it. Ray was a very, very, very good driver, and it taught me a thing or two, as a matter of fact. So we took the 1320 out, and here was the thing. The idea was who could run the quickest in the car, both of us in the car, who could run the quickest that night with the car as delivered on the street. In other words, no playing around with tire pressure. Tire pressure had to be at 32. We made sure of that before we left. Both of us were in the car, and I think the car, I don't know, about 3/4 of a tank of gas. So we spent the next couple of hours in that 1320 switching seats, seeing who could run the quickest. And we were running 1220s on the street, back to back to back to back to back to back. He finally got me. Credit to Ray. He got me with a 12 team. Hang on just a second. Hang on. All right. Yeah, he got me with a 12-1. I'm some kind of a teen, I'm sure. Um, so that was again one of the really cool memories that I had with a 1320. So I will always sign off on a 1320. Um, Oh, X saying, what up, Professor B? Saying, went to my first official car show today and got to see a lot of classic cars. There were so many Chevy and Ford guys and literally two Mopar guys. Both had Dodge Darts. Nice. I like darts. Uh-oh. We may run a little bit short tonight on the show because I'm doing this off my laptop and it looks like my laptop's about to croak. And wouldn't you know it, I don't have my charger with me. Oh, Dan saying also no factory clutch fan on the 5.7 5th gen. Really? Something I didn't know. I didn't even pay attention to that. Very interesting. I wonder why they didn't re-rate that truck. Interesting. Superstock saying, good evening, B. Got the flex. Saying, don't be hating on the Superstocks. Love mine. And hey, I didn't have to spend money on better tires. That's true. Ain't nobody hating on it. It's just one of the things that really annoyed me with the Superstock was it has nothing to do with the car. It was Dodge marketing flubbed a marketing campaign for that car. And it basically went like this. In fact, I saved the screenshot. It was the only muscle car to come from the factory with drag radials. And I was going, what about the 1320? That's still out there and that still comes with drag radials. Anyway, they pulled it. Not saying that they saw my video and did anything. I'm sure they got a lot of heat for that. But no, the Superstock's great. As a matter of fact, a couple of my close friends have them and absolutely love them and would love to get my hands on one. So what I'd really like to do is I would like to get my hands on and hopefully, and this is why I really like the Superstock because I want some parts off of that car. So if they did ever offer a front disc brake conversion, a Superstock disc brake conversion, I would be right in line for that through direct connection. That to me would be something that would be really, really cool. But then again, we got to get direct connection going, don't we? Also, too, getting back to the whole deal with the e-torque thing for the Rams, so one of the problems also, I was talking about complexity, the extra weight, that it's not really a performance enhancer, which I thought was weird, but that's where a lot of guys, they see that e-torque and they go, oh man, that's what this thing is. It's this performance enhancing contraption. And it's not a hybrid. It's not that kind of a hybrid. And I just don't know of anybody that I never got a report from anybody saying, oh man, this e-torque is so great. You've got to get one. I got a buddy of mine with one and he goes, I didn't even know what an e-torque was. He bought the truck and it's like, it's just a truck. It does truck stuff. In other words, he didn't come back and go, oh my God, this thing's a monster, So, but that kind of, that kind of accidental misrepresentation has, I think, left a lot of folks also a little bit less than ecstatic about the e-torque option. Again, it's because you see that it adds 130 foot-pounds of torque, but you notice, or you don't notice, I should say, that there's no mention of how much horsepower that it gives you. It's just saying it gives you X number of torques instead of saying it gives you 130 foot-pounds of torque and 70 horsepower. That's not how that thing works because it's not, again, a performance enhancer. It's just they're talking about filling gaps between shifts and helps the truck to get going basically off of partial throttle loads. That's really about it. So I just didn't see any reason to go that route. But again, that's nothing against the system. It's just that I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the system in that respect. Chuck saying, I would love a super stock, but can't find any under 100 grand these days. Well, there's also that. So one of the issues with the super stock, or in some cases the red eye, or in some respects the red eye, is that, I mean, you're walking into this conversation. If you haven't budgeted at least 90 grand, you're really not even in the conversation at that point. So that's another reason why the Hellcat starts to look real attractive, is when you get almost all the performance with the advantage of not spending as much, presumably anyway. But that's really kind of about the only real advantage that's there. Super stock's always going to be a super stock, which is going to make it kind of a special car. But guys, my battery's about to die. Again, I apologize. I did not realize that I did not drag that charger, unless it's over. I didn't bring the charger with me when I ran over here. But at any rate, I will be giving you guys some updates as this whole process runs its course for the truck. Hey, Roy, thank you very much. Saying a little something for the channel. I have to get up early for work. Thank you, Mr. B. Happy 4th, everybody. Same to you. Oh, hang on. Chuck saying, catch you on the next show. And Dan saying, mine was a crew cab, 4x4 Bighorn, 321, laid limited slip, 5.7 non-e-torque with a drop-in filter and muffler delete, 89 octane, ran 14.3 at 97 full weight. That's boogieing. 700 DA. Ray's truck, I think, ran like a 14.6 or a 14 something also. It just blows my mind how quick these trucks are. But at any rate, I'm looking forward to bringing you guys these updates and this content with this truck as the whole thing unfolds. But with that, I got to wrap it up because this thing's saying it's about to just absolutely turn us off. So, send it, don't bid it, keep your shiny side up, get out there, do something cool for somebody. You never know much about. They need it. Love each and every one of y'all. Could not do this at all without you. Sorry for the quick off, but if I don't do it like that, it's just going to blank. So with that, y'all have a great one. We will catch y'all on the next one. That's a wrap. Adios. Thanks, Roy.